The reality star and rapper Stunna Girl has come with the receipts. She apparently got some evidence that exposes Ray J's involvement in the tragic death of Whitney Houston. Adding fuel to the fire, she claims he was also the one supplying drugs to Wendy Williams, which she asserts contributed to her current health struggles. This shocking twist comes amidst an ongoing feud between the two celebrities, as they continue to air their dirty laundry in public. Reality star and rapper Stunna Girl threw some serious shade at Ray J, accusing him of allegedly getting Wendy Williams hooked on drugs, which she claims left Wendy in her current bad state. But hey, let's remember, this is all just hearsay, alright? So, here's the deal. Stunna Girl and Ray J have been beefing over some business stuff. Stunna Girl used to be on Ray J's network, L3aks, but then she ditched it to start her own thing, Redrum TV. Ray J's been pretty salty about it and has been talking smack, so Stunna Girl decided to clap back with these accusations. Stop Clout chasing off me, brokey. You've been on a podcast tour saying my name, trying to get casted off knowing Big Stunna. I own a network, you don't even own any clothes, thanks for your services, sir. But that wasn't all. She also slid in another message that she later deleted for reasons unknown. You can be the judge of that. But what she said was, instead of constantly being worried about me, Ray J needs to focus on what he did to Wendy Williams. She ain't been the same since you took her on that drug binge, gang. There have been some pics of Ray J hanging out with Wendy Williams, and we don't really know why they were together, but it does make you wonder a bit. Now, what can we say about Wendy and Ray J's friendship? It's been quite the ride. You've probably seen them together on Wendy's show, chatting about Hollywood drama and Ray J's projects. Their on-screen chemistry was great, but things have been rocky behind the scenes. Stunna Girl's accusations have definitely stirred the pot, bringing their past controversies back into the spotlight. Despite the drama, their friendship and work together keep people talking, showing how wild things can get when fame and personal drama mix. Wendy has been through a lot with her addiction battles, being open about her struggles with cocaine and alcohol. She even had a tough time during the pandemic, leading to some serious health scares.
For some time now, and even today and beyond, I have been living in a sober house. I am driven by my 24-hour sober coach back to a home, lights out by 10 p.m. So I go to my room and I stare at the ceiling and I fall asleep to wake up to come back here to see you. So that is my truth.
Wendy was in tears sharing her truth this morning, but is the talk show host telling the whole story? Earlier this month, Wendy returned to her daytime talk show, telling viewers she took 2 months off to deal with health issues caused by Graves' disease. But some say that's not the full story. Today, the Daily Mail is reporting that Wendy was actually at a drug and alcohol rehab in Florida during that time. For the timing of Wendy's announcement, ET has learned that Daily Mail TV had been investigating Wendy's 2-month absence and had asked her to comment on their report. She instead chose to go public because, a source tells us, she wanted it to be her story to tell. Wendy was candid with ET about how she struggled with addiction in the 90s.
I lost over a decade of my life being hooked on cocaine.
Wendy says back then, she was able to turn her life around without rehab.
I don't know how, except God was sitting on my shoulder and I just stopped.
Wendy made headlines when she collapsed on live TV in 2017. She attributed the fall to her Graves' disease. When she sat down with us last July, Wendy had this message for people struggling with addiction.
Experts think her substance issues might have contributed to her developing frontotemporal dementia, FTD, a type that affects younger people. Her son mentioned her doctors linking her condition to alcohol-induced dementia. The docu-series Where is Wendy Williams explores how her addiction struggles have complicated her life, especially as she deals with FTD and aphasia. Experts say substance abuse can mess with your brain's decision-making, which might have fueled Wendy's challenges. Her addiction has been a huge part of her story, shaping the ups and downs she's faced. So, what's up with Wendy now? Well, she's kind of back in the spotlight lately because of all the Diddy drama. Wendy and Diddy have always had a rough history. It all started back in the 90s when Wendy was on her radio gig, dropping bombshells about Diddy's personal life. She claimed he was trading favors in Hollywood and hinted at his sexuality live on air. This got her fired from Hot 97 in New York, and every other station in the city was told to steer clear of her. Wendy even said she had scandalous pics of Diddy with another guy in Cancun, but before she could spill more, Diddy got her axed and practically banned her from NY radio.
Well, everybody, the Puffy Combs trial has begun, and, you know, prosecutors are saying that Puffy fired at least one gunshot into the ceiling of the nightclub, which is, like, ridiculous. This whole thing happened back, of course, in December of '99. The comment came during the opening statements, and 3 people were injured during a shooting. Of course, Shine and Anthony Wolf Jones, the bodyguard, will also be standing trial. They're also saying that when the gunshots rang out, now whoever threw the, pulled the trigger, whatever, Puffy ran out of the club so fast and got into the waiting SUV that it wasn't until he got into the truck that he realized that he left Jennifer behind, along with his bodyguard, Anthony Wolf. He just, like, ran. You know, forget it. That's a true sign of an itch bag, by the way. Leaving his woman.
I thought it was an unk pay.
Well, eventually, Jennifer and Wolf made their way to the SUV without Puffy.
Right.
They ran 11 lights to elude the cops. Supposedly it was Puffy, although people are saying they saw a female hand tossing a gun out the window. And then when the cops stopped them, they found a second gun, of course, in the car.
Right.
All 4 of the occupants, the driver, the bodyguard, Puffy and Jennifer, were handcuffed and taken down to the precinct. And eventually Puffy and his bodyguard, Wolf, were overheard talking about their plot to bribe the driver to take the rap for the gun. And Puffy was overheard saying, and I quote, because the prosecutor said this, "I can't go to jail, I'm Puff Daddy." There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams. And she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career. And it's all coming full circle now. So
fast forward to today, and we got people such as Jaguar Wright who are praising Wendy for calling out what she dubbed homo thugs, specifically pointing fingers at Diddy. It shows how much clout Diddy had back then, blacklisting Wendy like that. He's only gotten richer and more powerful since. Wendy later hinted on her talk show that a hip-hop mogul, hint Diddy, was behind her firing for exposing his gay status. She didn't name names, but it was pretty clear. Wendy spilled about how much Diddy despised her, sending his girl groups to intimidate her at work. Luckily, her boyfriend stepped in, or who knows what would have gone down. Wendy thought she was in the clear once she hit it big on daytime TV, but she slipped up when she started poking at Diddy and Cassie's relationship. She tried to warn us about Diddy's influence and how he can make problems disappear with money. Back then, people brushed it off, but now, with Jaguar's interview, it seems Diddy's been greasing palms to stay out of trouble. Remember when Cassie and Diddy split? Wendy called out how he treated Cassie like his possession. Looking back, Wendy wasn't wrong, but we weren't ready to hear it, especially Diddy. Even when he appeared on Wendy's show trying to bury the hatchet, it felt more like a PR stunt. Diddy clearly wasn't over Wendy's digs. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen the roller coaster Wendy's been on. From passing out on live TV dressed as the Statue of Liberty to strange behavior and memory issues, something's not right. Last year, she left her show due to health problems, revealing she has serious dementia. Fans waited for updates, and her documentary shed light on just how bad things had gotten, exposing people leeching off her and ripping her off. Her family backed her claims, saying she was being exploited. In 2022, Wells Fargo even froze her accounts over suspicions of shady transactions by her team. Wendy had to appoint a financial guardian, But that backfired when they turned out to be stealing from her. Her son and sister spoke out, wondering why strangers were managing her affairs instead of family. Wendy's health issues were compounded by excessive drinking, according to her doctor. Her documentary sparked comparisons to Britney Spears' conservatorship ordeal, highlighting how the industry can control outspoken stars. Despite it all, Wendy continued her Las Vegas gig, raking in millions she couldn't touch due to the conservatorship. Celebs like Dave Chappelle and Kanye West chimed in, sharing their own battles with industry control. It's a wild ride, and Jaguar's interview suggests Wendy might not be exaggerating after all. Her fears about Diddy and the industry may be more spot on than we thought. Could Ray J be an inside guy, making sure that some of these stars don't make it out? What you're about to hear definitely suggests something along those lines. There have also been rumors about Ray J allegedly being Whitney Houston's drug supplier when she was alive. He spent a lot of time with Whitney, and some folks thought they were dating, but others suspected he had a different reason for being around. Actually, Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, claimed that Ray J was Whitney's drug connect, and that he was supposedly around her before she passed away in that bathtub.
I saw Ray J coming out of the hotel, hiding his head, being pushed into the car. Why? I looked and I said, why is he hiding? Why is he hiding his face? He's always trying to show his face when he's around Whitney. Why now? Why are you trying to hide now, Ray J? And I put it all together. When I first heard she passed away, I said, my God, somebody gave her a bad bag.
Cocaine.
Yes. I promise you, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. And then I saw Ray J, and it all added up. So I am going to believe that Ray J, who Whitney told me she had no relationship with, now this is a young boy who's running around telling people that he is a boyfriend of Whitney's, but I know clearly that he wasn't. He was, like she said, a runner boy. For some reason, he knows somebody that sells drugs, and he was buying them for Whitney, from what I know, and giving her drugs. I want to know why this boy was allowed to do that around Pat and around Gary. Around Pat, mainly because you were with her. You were with her all the time. All the time. And for you to say that you don't know what happened to her, you know, I'm really disturbed by that. I really am.
That was a serious accusation, and Leola has been pretty outspoken about what she thinks happened to Whitney. She doesn't buy the whole Whitney just overdosed in the bathtub story that most people believe. During the autopsy, they found defense wounds on Whitney's body, suggesting someone might have tried to harm her. Initially, there were rumors that some drug dealers took her out because she owed them money. But Leola suspects Whitney's sister-in-law, Pat Houston, and her brother, Gary Houston, had a hand in it, allegedly setting Whitney up to take control of her estate. She also thinks they did the same thing to Whitney's daughter, Bobby Christina, since both mother and daughter died under similar circumstances. Leola even pointed fingers at Ray J and Nick Gordon, claiming they were the ones making sure Whitney and Bobby Christina were never fully sober so they could be set up. There's also a conspiracy theory that Clive Davis might have ordered a hit on Whitney, thinking she was more valuable dead than alive. So, yeah, there are a lot of wild theories about what really happened to Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina, but Leola has always believed Ray J played a shady role in the whole thing. But there is also another sus thing when we're talking about Ray J and Whitney. There's this old interview where Ray J was chatting with Maxwell Billion, and they got on the topic of his relationship with Whitney. Ray J said something super weird. When the interviewer asked if Whitney was clean, Ray J responded, "She's clean if I want her to be."
Because every time
you should do her right.
I always do her right. I always do her right. Before we were really right, you know how long it took me to really make it right with her?
Ray, do you understand what I could do?
She would, I'm trying to tell you, let me tell you.
If Whitney, is she clean?
Absolutely. Until,
clean, Ray.
Until, if I want her to be.
What? Okay, wait, let's turn this off.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Now that was crazy. And it makes you wonder if Ray J might have really been Whitney's runner boy, and maybe even Wendy Williams too. We can't say for sure, but Stunna Girl is accusing Ray J of being involved in Wendy's downfall. That's a big claim, especially since Wendy has had substance abuse issues for a long time. Even in her documentary, she was still drinking despite all her health problems. So, blaming Ray J might not be fair, but it's possible he was around during her binge that pushed her over the edge. Ray J seriously needs to get his act together. He should stop partying and getting mixed up in sketchy stuff. It seems like he's really into the fast life, and that's why he's not close to his family. His sister Brandy doesn't even invite him to family events anymore because of his wild behavior. He really needs to sort out his life before something bad happens to him. But yeah, Ray J's name does keep popping up in shady situations, that's for sure.